advocates and families are speaking out tonight. Some are convinced that this is taking away the rights of elderly patients. And certainly this legislation does open up the possibility that some families could be separated. We spoke with one family who knows that struggle all too well.
It was awful. It was a personal hell for her and a personal hell for our family.
Jill Davis's mother, Joan, had complex health issues, including dementia. In 2019, Joan fell 3 times in just 48 hours, so the search began for a long-term care home. To her family's disappointment, there were no spots available in Oakville, where she lived her whole life, or in any of the cities nearby.
They would say it would be years before there would be an opening, and we were in a crisis situation.
The family was forced to move Joan an hour's drive away to a long-term care home in Grimsby,
where my sister would be able to go in every day and see her and take her Tim Hortons and make sure she was okay. That wasn't going to happen. We were really devastated because this was her home, but we had no choice.
More families in Ontario are now facing this prospect as the Ford government attempts to ease healthcare pressures and free up beds in hospitals. Legislation introduced today could give hospitals the right to temporarily move patients to the first long-term care bed available, even if it's not in their community.
You are going to separate families and put people in homes that are against their will, that could inevitably harm them.
The government maintains no one will be forced to move against their will, and this move could free up 250 hospital beds within 6 months and 1,300 beds by March.
To suggest that other people need the beds more, this is a profoundly ageist and ableist rhetoric.
But the Ontario Long-Term Care Association says it's important to get seniors who don't need to be in the hospital out for their own well-being.
When they finally transfer into a long-term care home, they thrive. Hospitals are not the place for older individuals to live.
Advocates say with the current staffing crisis in long-term care homes, their needs may not be met.
You are literally sending people from one sector that is in crisis into an even bigger sector in crisis. In what world is this a logical solution to this problem?
From this government, what we're really looking for is clarity on, there's a lot of big numbers being thrown around, beds, staffing, dollars, etc. But the devil is always in the details.
Jill Davis hopes no family will have to suffer the way they did.
It was devastating with Mom. I don't think anybody realizes it until they're in that position with a loved one. I don't think you can properly put into words the anguish. It is gut-wrenching.
According to the Ontario Hospital Association, there are currently 5,800 patients in hospital that could be transferred to a long-term care home if a space becomes available. The average age of a patient transfer from hospital to long-term care is 81.